Hello and welcome to Brodual. It's been a hectic few months for us, but we're back with a video intended to go up a few months ago. It's our top mods of 2019, better late than never edition. As with our top mods from previous years, we've only included new mods released in the past year, not included ported mods. Also, as always, we've chosen at least one mod for each of our Skyrim mod categories, but for some we have multiple, just depending on what we liked from last year. And finally, if you think we missed anything, then let us know in the comments down below. Starting alphabetically, we have animation mods, and for that we chose the animated Armoury. This is a mod that seamlessly integrates 4 new weapon types, all coming with their own custom animations. There are new rapiers, pikes, halberds, and our favourites, the quarterstaffs. Each weapon comes with their own strengths and weaknesses that fit alongside the vanilla weapons. Whether it's the finesse and precision of a rapier, or the long-ranged halberd that lets you switch between slashing and stabbing. For a monk style character, the new quarterstaffs offer that extra bit of style with an entirely unique power attack. Instead of a single more powerful blow, you'll deal a combination of smaller ones, which if they all hit can be extremely deadly. Altogether, the animated Armoury offers a small collection of new weapons that look, feel and behave like they belong in the world of Skyrim. However, it's the custom animations in particular that work in first and third person for both player and NPCs that gives this mod its unique edge, and for that it takes our top animation spot for 2018. Jumping to armour mods, we have one of our favourite modded sets of all time, the Kynreeve Armour. Inspired by the Daedric style, this male only set comes with an incredible amount of detail and depth. It looks and feels like a super powerful late game option fit for almost any playstyle. In terms of customization, you get to choose between 3 pieces of headgear, the Black Panther-esque helmet, a hood or a combination of the two. We've seen plenty of Daedric themed armours and replaces over the years, but never one quite as impressive as this. If you're interested in other fantastic armours from last year, check out our separate top 5 armour mods from 2018. For our favourite audio mod, you might be expecting a sound overhaul or some fancy new background music for you to enjoy on your adventures around Skyrim. Instead, what we have is the more painful NPC death sounds mod. Just as it says on the tin, the mod offers a few dozen new agonisingly painful death screams into Skyrim. We've killed tens of thousands of bandits in our videos alone, so we know more than most how painless and empty the last dying screams of our enemies are.
This is a surprise.
Is that your best? Now, get home.
Looks like we got ourselves
Over here.
You won't get the best of me.
The mod offers sounds that not only fit both genders and all of the races, but also for different types of NPCs. The screams of a cowardly NPC differ from that of a soldier or a city guard, just as it does for the screams of an older NPC compared to a younger one. Honestly, we can see why some might think this is a weird mod to install, but if you're building a gritty, realistic or maybe even gory Skyrim, this might be the mod for you. Our favourite character mod from 2018 has to be Andromeda. The vanilla standing stones have to be one of the most mundane parts of building a character in Skyrim. You could skip them entirely and you wouldn't notice anything was missing. Andromeda aims to fix that with a complete overhaul of the stones, offering 2 new abilities per stone and an additional power for each stone once you discover them all. The mod offers some incredibly unique abilities that aren't big enough to build an entire playstyle around, but instead can offer an interesting twist to your character. Andromeda also makes it feel like you've truly been blessed by something magical. Instead of the Shadow Stone just granting you a once a day invisibility power, it now enhances a close combat stealthy playstyle. You'll gain enhanced sneak and movement speed when moving alongside a wall or object, while its unlockable power, Shadow Step, will let you pounce from the darkness, letting you dash towards a nearby enemy. The end result is a Shadow Stone that makes you incredibly agile, as you sneak from wall to wall as you pounce from target to target. All of the other stones offer similar but unique abilities, whether it's the Blessing of the Steed, making you feel like you can travel endlessly around Skyrim, and even summon your own portable storage container, or the Ritual Stone, where you could summon your previously fallen allies and enemies to fight by your side once a day. To see more of what Andromeda has to offer, you can check out our full video on it, or just jump straight into things for yourselves in game. Jumping into city mods, we have to give it to the Great City series. This work in progress collection of mods aims to overhaul some of the secondary towns and cities in Skyrim, while eventually expanding into the 5 major ones. Generally speaking, the mod offers an expansion on the vanilla towns, with each one receiving new structures and buildings. We really like how the mod takes each city's location, history and current situation into account before making any changes. It doesn't add buildings just for the sake of it, but instead everything feels like it belongs or has a purpose. It transforms Falkreath from little more than a glorified village into one that features the largest and most famous graveyard in all of Skyrim. The most notable change to each city is its structure, with the mod taking advantage of huge walls and towers to make each city feel closed in and well defended. This is especially noticeable at the Dragon Bridge, which is now a true fortress that guards a path into the world of Harfinger. These transformations can really give Skyrim a fresh new feel. You won't be disappointed when you reach what's supposed to be one of the greatest cities in Skyrim, Winterhold, only to find a small generic village. You'll now see how a truly magnificent city was destroyed by the Great Collapse. Overall, this is one of the better city overhauls we've seen for Skyrim, and we can't wait to see how it expands into the 5 major cities. For combat we have something unique. Normally we'd have an overhaul that tweaks enemies or adds new killer moves for your character to use. Instead we have a camera mod. The third-person camera overhaul unhooks Skyrim's camera off its anchor, making Skyrim's third-person combat feel much more like Dark Souls or other third-person combat games. Instead of the camera being fixed behind your character's head, it'll now sway and follow your character's movement instead. This might not seem like a big deal, but it can have a dramatic effect to combat, especially when you combine it with other mods. We go into much more detail in our third-person combat overhaul video, but put simply, by combining the new camera with certain other mods, like the one that add the ability to lock on and dodge, combat is dramatically transformed. You can also throw in a mod that removes the aimbot that enemies use to lock onto your character, making your movement and dodges even more effective. If you're looking to make combat in Skyrim more methodical and precise, or maybe if like us you've never really given third-person combat a go, now is the time to start. For creature mods of 2018, we really like the collection released by the author Rougeshot. As of making this video, the author offers around 24 mods, with each one focusing on a single creature. Generally speaking, the mods offer skeletal changes to transform each creature with a particular aim in mind. For dragons, this was to make it feel like their wings could realistically lift a fully grown dragon into the air. This small tweak might not seem like much, but it definitely makes dragons a more awe-inspiring sight, especially as they swoop down for the kill. Every other creature the author focuses on receives a combination of tweaks to its body and skeleton that won't seem like a big deal at first, but they definitely make some of the more iconic Skyrim creatures feel fresh and new. Whether it's the marvellous mud crabs with their noticeably larger crab legs, or the wolves with their larger legs and bodies, as well as their lower swooping head that makes them feel more savage and deadly. If you're looking for a really simple way to refresh Skyrim's creatures, definitely check out the rest of his collection. Jumping to follower mods, we jump right into the arms of Lucien. As an Imperial scholar on an expedition to learn more about Skyrim and its history, you'll become Lucien's companion just as much as he'll become yours. As a voiced follower, Lucien's witty and often sarcastic personality is brought to life with over 1,600 lines of fully voiced dialogue. With this, he'll be able to comment on the situation at hand, read certain books out loud, and he'll even whisper while sneaking. Here's just a quick sample of what you can expect.
Hit me! Not literally.
I know a few spells and can just about swing a sword,
is an
but
ode
beyond
to
that,
Skyrim's
I'm pretty
staunch
useless in
protectors,
combat.
The Imperials.
Skyrim's no place for a milk drinker like me.
Sure, I'll read it to you.
120 numbered ages in the void that fated folk had grown deep.
Another fantastic feature of Lucien is his ability to interact with other followers, even those added by mods. If you have Hoth or Inigo installed, you can listen to them chat as their personalities clash. In terms of his functionality as a follower, Lucien comes with everything you'd expect. As a scholar, he's not the best in combat, but as you travel around Skyrim together and work on his journey to discover Skyrim's history, he'll build on his skills as a fighter. Altogether, companion mods of this quality are becoming more and more rare, so it's refreshing to see the arrival of Lucien Flavius in 2018. For the graphics category, it definitely has to go to some of the best retexture work we've seen in a long time, and that's Frankly's HD armours. In particular, we'd like to focus on Frank's take on the faction-based armours, including the Nightingale set, the Shrouded Armour, and the Thieves Guild set. These are some of the toughest sets to retexture as we've seen over the years, and these are by far my personal favourites. On top of just being incredibly more detailed and offering up to 4K textures, I really like how gritty and worn they feel. These are sets won by people who lurk in the shadows, and the rustic style definitely reflects that. The mods also take it a step further and offers a bunch of optional features, including an all-black Oblivion styled Shrouded Armour. The Nightingale set can come without the cape or with fingerless gloves. And for the Thieves Guild set, the authors also covered all versions of the armour, offering unique changes to make each one stand out. There's honestly not a whole lot else to say, the retextures pretty much speak for themselves, so if you like what you've just seen, be sure to check out the author's other work too, which is continued into 2019. To boost your immersion in Skyrim, we have the Immersive World Encounters mod. This is a mod that expands on the random events in the game by offering roughly 70 new encounters into Skyrim. Random encounters are one of the best ways to keep gameplay fresh as you travel across Skyrim's vast wilderness. In vanilla, these work well until you're essentially put on a loop for the more generic events. With 70 entirely new encounters, including over a dozen that feature fully voiced dialogue, the Immersive World Encounters mod does a fantastic job in keeping you on your toes. Regardless of where you are in Skyrim or Solstheim, new encounters await you. Whether it's a fallen priest that needs to be healed, or a thief that's mugging an NPC in one of Skyrim's cities, how you react will change the outcome. One of my favourite types of encounters are the ones that involve Skyrim's many factions. These use the actual NPCs, and what happens depends on your relationship with that faction and where you are in their quest lines. So you'll actually see the companions out on a hunting trip, or Sierra on his own very special type of hunt. The voiced encounters also offer a level of depth not seen in vanilla. These essentially play out like mini quests, but with a clear-cut objective. So like the other encounters, how you react will change the outcome. Altogether, this has become a must-have for us, especially as the author expanded on the voiced encounters since we featured them on its own video. For interface mods, we actually have two. The first is Display Enemy Level. This incredibly simple mod displays the level of your enemies next to their name on your HUD, while also offering a colour code to quickly display the level difference between you and the enemy. This is a handy bit of information for the base game, but it's truly helpful if you're using a mod that delevels your enemies, meaning they'll no longer scale alongside your own character's level. The second mod we have is equally simple, it's the JS Lockpicking UI. This offers a brand new lockpicking interface, featuring a much higher quality alternative to vanilla. On top of that, it also offers a new model and textures for the skeleton key, bringing it up to par with its new interface. Once again, this is another type of mod that helps keep Skyrim fresh, and it definitely speaks for itself, so if you like what you see, you can find everything you need down below. For the magic category, we'd normally feature a spell package, but just like the camera combat mod, we're subverting your expectations with some strange runes. Initially thought by us to be little more than a Doctor Strange inspired mod, Strange Runes surprised us in offering some extra flair for our spell casting in Skyrim. When you cast a spell or scroll, glowing glyphs will now appear from the hands. The type of rune that appears will depend on the type of spell you cast, choosing from a huge selection of 55 different runes. It works for NPCs and fully supports custom spells added by other mods. This is probably one of the more hit or miss mods on our list, but we think it works very well in game. The one-handed runes become a surprisingly subtle effect, while the more noticeable master runes add some extra style for the most powerful spells in the game. If you're aiming to feel like a true master of the arcane, maybe some strange runes will help you get there. For player homes, we also have two mods, and together they showcase the complete opposite ends of modded homes. First is the LC Build Your Own Noble House mod. Starting with little more than a work shed and a tent to sleep in the Falkreath Hold, the mod will let you build an entire village and noble house, featuring your own fortified castle to live in. The mod works just like Hearthfire, in that you use a workbench and a ton of materials to slowly build up each part of your house. You'll start with simple options, like building a wall or a water well, but as you continue to expand you'll build guard towers as well as a barracks for your guards to live in. To attract villagers you can build homes for them to live in, a tavern for them to relax in, and a temple for them to pray in. You can earn daily resources by building a farm or a lumberjack house, or by expanding into the nearby mines. And of course, the icing on the cake is a giant fortified castle for you to live in. Once you're finished, you'll have your own fully functioning and profitable house at your disposal, fit with your own custom coat of arms. If you're looking for a project to slowly expand on as you play, and to eventually live in as one of the largest player home mods ever, then this is the mod for you. But if the life of the nobleman is too much for a modest player like yourself, you might want the second mod we have, Harborside. This incredible simple hole-in-the-wall home is buried within the bridge at the Solitude Docks. Without any fuss or even load doors, Harborside is open and ready for a new owner. Featuring handy but modest features, the home comes with a solid amount of storage space, functional windows that open out to the docks, and a basement with a forge and crafting area. With custom models and objects scattered around the home, as well as the ambient sound of the Solitude Docks in the background, the home has an incredibly unique and cozy feel to it. We've always been fans of these hole-in-the-wall style homes, and Harborside is now definitely one of our favourites. For our favourite quest and DLC size mod, we have Project AHO taking both categories. Designed with the traditions of Bethesda games in mind, this expansive quest mod adds a new hidden settlement to Skyrim, Sadrith Kigran of the Great House Telvanni. Built on the ruins of a great dwarven city, you'll be plunged into the settlement as a prisoner, ready to be auctioned off into the settlement's bustling slave trade. The mod does an incredible job at introducing the town's unique customs and culture, thanks to the outstanding voice acting from over 20 fully voiced NPCs. Like in vanilla, every character has their own purpose and role to play. Every character is worth speaking to and may offer useful information as you delve into the 40 new locations added by the mod. We don't want to spoil too much, because how you're introduced to the settlement and its ongoing politics is one of the best parts of the mod. But your ultimate aim is to eventually discover the secrets behind a grand Dwemer invention, the Ethereum Hyperspace Observatory. The whole mod, everything from the cozy Dwemer houses to the awe-inspiring views around the observatory, is one of the most polished and well put together quest mods we've ever seen. And that level of polish is seen throughout the entire quest, which will take several hours to play through. It's enhanced further with great new music and custom features, like a new spell tome crafting system and a fully playable dwarven organ. Altogether, if you haven't tried out Project AHO yet, then we highly recommend you give it a go. Since it's so separate from the base game, you don't even need to wait to start, you can just jump right in. And finally we come to our last category, weapons. And for that we have a clashing of universes with Vikings Weaponry. Inspired by the Vikings TV series, the mod offers several of the show's iconic weapons and shields. Since both worlds are heavily Nordic themed, the weapons fit seamlessly into Skyrim. And since the author is also one of the most popular weapon creators out there, the quality of the mod speaks for itself. Since these weapons come from some legendary Viking characters, we thought it also transitioned into an honourable mention of the signature equipment mod. By making your weapons scale through achievement, you too can make your weapons become legend. If the mighty Dragonborn slays an entire Stormcloak army with his frying pan, that pan will be the one they sing songs about. Every battle you use your iconic weapon in will boost its legend, enhancing its stats along with it. It's a niche mod but fantastic for roleplaying, or just so you can stick with using a single weapon through an entire playthrough. And with that we come to the end of our top mods of 2018. As I said at the beginning, it's been a hectic few months for us, but we're looking to get back into things. We've already begun work on videos for the Faith Overhaul Winter Sun and the spell mod Arcanium. If we've missed any other great mods for the past few months, then be sure to let us know down below. And as always, be sure to leave endorsements on any mods you enjoy, and thanks for watching.